Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Well, hey, friends, and welcome back to the show. This is Martine, and we are going to continue our conversation this week with Kiné Corder, who is the world's #1 national certified counselor specializing in financial therapy. She's also the CEO of Presidential Lifestyle, a tech-enabled subscription-based wellness company focused on prosperity. We just didn't get to finish our conversation last week. And so I asked her to come back on for a part 2. And so this episode, we dive into the 4 areas every service-based business owner needs to build a simple, logical, and profitable business. We talk about lots of other things too, but that's what I brought her back on to talk about. So this will be just a continuation of our conversation. She's just a delight to talk to and to interview. And I hope that you fell in love with her last week. And if not, you definitely will after this week. And maybe you didn't even know, like me, that there was such a thing as financial therapy. It's pretty crazy, but so needed, because as a mompreneur myself, like, how much time do you waste on emotions around money or around your pricing or around your marketing or whatever it is, like just either not being aware of your emotions, not dealing with the emotions, and then really mastering these 4 areas that she's going to talk about on this week's episode. So y'all grab your pen and paper and let's do this. Well, hey, friends, and welcome back to the Mompreneur Life Remix podcast. I'm so excited to have Kiné on again for a part 2 of our series. Her and I just talked for 10 minutes before we hit the record button. I feel like I could talk to you forever. She's super easy to talk to, and maybe we'll show the video this time so they'll get to see how beautiful your smile is and how contagious. Just infectious. So thank you so much for coming on the show again, because we didn't get to finish everything we wanted to talk about in the first episode. And I know people's attention spans are very, very short. And so thank you for willing to come back on and let's finish this conversation.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because first of all, I hate an unfinished conversation. Like it keeps me up at night. And then 2, I feel like it's so much information. Yeah. It is so difficult to get it in just like one fell swoop. So the fact that like whoever listened to last week's and then now they're back here, like, you're amazing. Thank you for coming back. Right. Yeah. And if you didn't, if this is the first one you're getting, I'm saying go get the first one because you're going to want it.
Yeah. It's kind of the precursor for it, for sure. And we talked a lot about, some of the emotions, and we talked about, imposter syndrome, and it was just really, really good episode. So I definitely like, what is a financial therapist? Just all of those things that maybe you're like, who is this person and what does she do? Like, what is a financial therapist? We went into a lot of detail on a lot of great things, burnout. But for today, I really wanted to kind of have you talk about those 4 areas that, every service-based business owner needs to build a simple, and I love that you use the word logical, and profitable business, because I think it was the Facebook Live that I was listening to you, and you were kind of talking about the difference in making an emotional decision and just a logical business decision. I was like, I think I even got off and went and called my husband. I'm like, that was so simple. Like, what's the logical decision here, right? Like, don't get so wrapped up in your own emotion, whatever the emotion is, good or bad. Emotions just are, right? They're not good or bad. Yeah. But it just, I don't know. And so I love that we're back here to kind of talk about these 4 areas.
And I like starting there. What you just said, you're like, emotions aren't good or bad. unless they're misplaced, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you are emotional when you should be logical, now it is a bad thing. And we can honestly say that it's a bad thing for you to be emotional right now. You are not going to make a good decision.
Yeah.
And a good decision is needed in business. Every single decision you make in business is going to affect another person. Mm-hmm. Either it's your team, your vendor, your client, whatever. It's going to affect another person, but it is going to affect you. And you got to sleep at night with this decision, or you got to get up in the morning and know you made this decision. So you want it to be as logical as possible. So a couple of things I think we should talk about today is, one, just getting some awareness around the most common emotions that happen in business, at least the ones that I see. Right. And then we're going to talk about these 4 areas, because if you get these 4 areas down, like the rest of business becomes a lot easier. I'm going to use that word, easier. But then I might throw in, if we have time, these 5 areas that create the most emotion, because I want you to be at least aware that they're there. And that's what this podcast episode is, a lot of awareness. Right. And I think I said last time, we're dropping some seeds for some of you. We're watering some seeds for others. And then we're harvesting seeds for another group. Yep. Wherever you are in that, just be there and don't make it more than it needs to be. So if this is the first time you've ever heard of financial therapy and all of these emotions in business, and you're still having them, do not beat yourself up. I always want to make sure I let people know, yes, we probably said these emotions are good or bad. We didn't say you were good or bad.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we at least started with that so people understand you are good.
Right.
Those emotions, though, we need to talk about them.
And that's the thing, like just even talking about them. I mean, I think I told you when we had, kind of our little private session that I tend to avoid, and I went through a season of where I really had to sit in them, and it was very uncomfortable. But it was like, this is what I need to do to get to the next level, not just in business, but just in life, and quit avoiding the emotions and thinking that my emotions were drama. That's what I associated. Any emotion, I associated it with drama. And anybody that showed emotion, well, you're just being a drama king or a drama queen. And that was a huge lesson for me. And I realized that I was even labeling my children, as my youngest, like drama king, like you're drama about everything. No, he's just sharing his emotion with me. But because I tend to avoid emotion for whatever reason, that's probably a whole therapy session you and I can do later. So I just appreciate you bringing this up in business, because I think there are a lot of mompreneurs too that just, well, they don't really matter. My emotions don't really matter. Or I can just pull myself up by my bootstraps and just push through this. Right. So that's why I appreciate the work that you're doing, because it is important to be aware, like you said, and then to kind of figure out where they're coming from, and a lot of the other things that you're going to be sharing. I'm sure you're the expert here, but some of my things.
So let's set a couple of ground rules. One, like I said, we're talking about awareness, but then you're going to have to accept, like, either this is where I'm going to be emotional when it comes to business. Now, I said I was going to maybe tell you about the 5, but I'm just going to tell you about the 5 areas. If we get to talk about them in depth, that's great. But where I see the most emotions: technology, marketing, operations, finance, and your core values, right? That's really going to sum up your entire business. So let me make sure you know, whether you heard last week's or not, I specialize in financial therapy for business success. There are a lot of ways you can do financial therapy for marriage, right? Marriage counseling. You can do it for teenagers. You can do it for college kids going out of college into their profession. There's so many ways you can do financial therapy. I specialize in financial therapy for business success. So am I saying these are all the emotions you are going to feel in life? No, I am saying these are where the emotions come up the most. So for me, technology can bring me to my knees. I am the strongest woman you will ever meet. But technology is my nemesis. It is my joker, my Riddler, my why does it hate me so much? What did I do to it? Oh, that's so funny. I would be in tears about technology, especially when Mercury is in retrograde. Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to die. Just kill me. It doesn't even matter anymore. I can't do it.
It's like, really great when it works, but when it doesn't, it does bring you to your knees. Something that should have taken 10 minutes takes an hour. It's just like you're done for the day. You're like, I can't even conquer anything else. Like, exactly. It's totally defeated me.
I should have just become a carpenter, right? Something like non-technical, I think. I just named that. I don't even know if that's technical, but I don't want any technology. Just give me a sander.
Yes, yes.
I'm not even talking about the one you plug in. I'm talking about the piece of paper. Just keep it so analog. I am an analog girl, and you might be too. So when you're up against technology, it might bring out a lot of emotion in you. Mm-hmm. And oh, that rhymed. That was kind of cool. We should tweet that, guys.
Tweetable moment.
Yes. So I use that as an example because I want you to just start to take notice. Mm-hmm. And then I want you to I accept that technology is going to bring me to my knees sometimes, but I'm going to master it sometimes. Other times it's like, bam, 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 it's going to work for me. Things are going to calculate and, all the stuff is going to be happening and merging and stuff, because I'm not techie. So I don't even know what language to use to describe what's happening. But I know that I accept that. I'm not working on that at all. I'm not spending 1 minute trying to get better at technology. I will hire somebody in that area. Yeah. Marketing. I grew up in marketing, so I can be good at marketing. But if I want to be the best financial therapist I can be, I have to give marketing to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I can pour into my clients. Mm-hmm. And so I want you to look at awareness, acceptance, and then adjust. So we got acceptance. Well, we have awareness. We got acceptance. That's where you're just going to say, you know what? I'm not trying to make this better. It is what it is. I'm a 3 at this. Oh, well. Oh, and then you have adjust. Now, if you are a 6 or a 7 and you'd like to become a 9 or a 10, I say go for it. Put some energy there. So understand what we are saying. When we point out these emotions that you're having, usually the emotions you're going to have to decide whether am I going to feel this emotion and let myself do this, or am I not? So that is the acceptance and then the adjust. So let's go into the emotions, and then I'm going to break down these 4 areas you have to know them. Okay. So the areas that I see of emotions, the type of emotions that I see the most are and I call them success emotions or prosperity emotions. Okay. And the first one is money emotions. Now that kind of breaks down into like your lack emotion, money emotions. That breaks down into your shame, your guilt, your desperation, right? You're like, oh, I need to make the price this high because I need money right now. And then you make the price high, and then you're like, oh, I feel guilty. I shouldn't have done that. And then you lower the price, and then you're like, well, I'm worth it. And then you have the shame because wait, I got all these degrees and I'm a professional. And then so why am I not getting paid? And so all of those emotions around money. Yeah. And then you have your lack emotions. Lack emotions are the I'm not good enough. I don't have enough. It's all the enoughs, kind of thing. The thinking that you have to have either or. Either I'm going to be a good mom or I'm going to have a successful business. That's lack emotions, either or thinking. And then the third one is what I call lonely emotions. And lonely emotions are like the numbness, the disconnected, the misunderstood, because you are different. And so you don't really fit in anywhere. And so you're like, oh, I could be with the moms, but I'm not all that much of a mom. I'm definitely not a stay-at-home mom the way those ladies are. And I'm not baking cookies. So maybe I go over here with the power women. And then you're like, oh, but I'm not that much of a power woman. I'm only just a little bit of a power woman. So I don't really fit in there either. Is there like a mixed group? Right. And so you don't fit into any group like clearly. And a lot of the women that I talk to don't fit any group clearly. Like you're not all the way this or all the way that. You're like a mixture. And if you are a mixture, you're going to have a lot of misunderstandings. People, you won't be a lot like them and they won't be a lot like you. So you'll feel like you don't fit in and there'll be that disconnect and that misunderstanding. Sometimes numbness because you tried to fit in and you tried to love on them and they were like, "Ooh, yeah, you're not that great as I thought you were." And you're like, "I am. You just don't see it. Hello." And so that's your lonely emotions. And a lot of people say, it's lonely at the top. It is not lonely at the top. There's some really cool people at the top. Problem is, a lot of times you just didn't bring all the right people with you. You brought the takers with you, the people who needed to ride your coattail, the people who didn't have anything. They needed you. And you're like, well, at least I have somebody. No, you should have said, you know what? You're not going to make it to the top unless you get your own ladder, because you're not going to break mine trying to get up here. It's two of us. The same's not going to work. And you got to have those conversations sometimes, but emotions get in the way. So we don't.
Yeah. So true.
So the last one is your fear.
Go with you, right? Some people just can't go with you on the next level.
No, and that is okay.
It is okay. Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have to fight to get them up the ladder.
Yeah.
And I say up the ladder, but I like to look at success as a continuum from left to right rather than up and down. But because the rest of the world looks at it that way, I sometimes describe it that way. But in my program, we don't talk about it that way. It's kind of a left to right. We talked about the authentic self and the imposter self, and that's on left to right. So when you're in your imposter self, you're not successful. You're not feeling good. And the closer you get to your authentic self, that's the more successful you, and the more you get to be yourself, because getting paid to be you, that is so awesome. It is so awesome. Yeah. So the last one are your fear emotions. And this one is, it kind of encompasses all of them, but it's mostly about like fear of the unknown, which is really the only fear we are actually born with. It's like fear of the unknown, fear of loud noises, because when we were primitive people, you heard a loud noise that usually meant a mountain lion, a bear, or whatever, something dangerous lurking, and you need to get out the way. So that fear of loud noise is also the fear of the unknown, because you don't know what that is, but you do not want to wait around to find out.
Right. That no one. I'm not waiting around to figure out what that is.
I know they do that in the movies. Do not follow the movie.
No, we're all talking to the screen anyway. We're all talking to the screen saying, why are you doing that?
Get out of there.
Why are you walking down into that dark basement when you just heard something in the basement? Please, someone help me understand this.
Exactly. So that your fear emotions is really around fear of the unknown, fear of making a mistake, and the fear of not fitting in or being liked, which then goes into your lonely emotions. And they all do kind of connect and come together. But I break them up into those 4 areas so that I know what I'm viewing when I'm sitting with you. And then we can break it down to where it is that it's coming from. And so all of these emotions get pushed into what I call these are the 4 areas for business success, especially specifically for service-based business owners. And so I'm going to give them to you, and then we're going to break them down. So knowing your niche, building a community, having the right pricing, and multiple streams of revenue. And you have no idea how much pushback, how much hard work I have to go through to get these 4 things done. So we are going to talk about them, because I want you to stop fighting, and I just want you to find your niche, like for real. If you have not settled, if you're still saying, I can help everybody, but I can help everybody, you just because you can doesn't mean you should, because you will be so tired. After trying to help everybody. Right. But if you could just pour into a certain group of people, it will light you up. So you will always have energy, because these are the people that you know for sure that you can help. And then you won't have to sound salesy, because you'll be talking to people who need what you have. And you know they need it because you know them so well. And that is your niche. And the reason why you want to have a niche, really logical reason, is so you know where to spend your marketing dollars. That is the logical reason. Right. Now, is there some emotion that goes into picking your niche? Yeah, absolutely. That is your why usually. And your why is the one area where you should have emotions in your business. Your why, your mission, your vision. That's where all your emotions go. Outside of that, the rest of the decisions are logical. So once you know your why, and then you can just sit all the emotions in there, and then you come back and you get logical. So that niche is going to light you up, and you won't get burnout, because it will be easy. And it becomes like this turnkey kind of, you can do this in your sleep. But let's just say I don't do financial therapy for business success. Let's say I did all kinds of financial therapy, and I wake up in the morning, and today I'm working with Todd, and Todd is bringing his wife in, and I'm working with this couple, and I'm trying to tell them how to have financial therapy, how to be successful in their marriage. And then this next day I wake up, and then I'm talking to a teenager, and talking to, little Bobby, and I'm teaching little Bobby about how to really reconcile his emotions around money and not be like whatever society told him to be. And then the next day I'm going and I'm meeting with, it's like tiring because I don't have a formula. I am not going to say, hey, this is my formula. Yes. Is there a formula for financial therapy that everybody can use? Yes, but there's some nuances and some changes and, some specifics that go into financial therapy for business success. And if you think about it, I just gave you a good part of those, right? So if you're not able to talk about that, it don't matter. If me and Oprah have a conversation, if me and Elon Musk have a conversation, you know what I know better than both of those two billionaires? Financial therapy. They can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm confident. I don't care that they have more money than I have. Because I have a lot more of financial therapy education than they do. And they need me.
Right. Yep.
And yes, I need them as my client, of course, yes. But I can go into that logically because what I know for sure is that Elon Musk, he might know a lot of things about business, but he doesn't know about financial therapy for business success.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So step in my office.
Right. Come on in.
Exactly.
Now, let me teach you some things.
So that's your niche, but there are a lot of emotion around that, right?
There is.
What are some of them? So one of the emotions around niching down is that you're going to miss out. But the crazy phenomenon is that the moment you niche down, you start to get the money. You don't miss out on money because you think you're leaving money on the table, but you're actually not, because now people know who to refer to you.
Yeah. So true.
And that makes it a lot easier for you to get referrals. And a referral is 80% more likely to turn into a client than a video on YouTube or a cold email. 80%. So you want that word of mouth. And I know the world is not built on word of mouth anymore, but you should consider it. And the reason why you should consider niching down is so that you can get more word of mouth, because those are 80% chance of converting to a client. Do you want 80% chance, but a cold email is like less than 10% chance?
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. And I think I know for me, like when I was working through this and trying to niche down, I'm an includer by nature. So the thought, like you just said, like, oh, I'm going to leave out somebody, like I don't want to anybody. I know I can help them and I can help them, but it is exhausting. It reminded me, and this is a direct selling example, but I know a lot of people that listen have been in direct sales. So it's kind of like when I would do my days, and like some days I focused on, bringing in those new leads. And then some days I focused on talking to my current hostesses from my parties. But if I bounced from one to the other in the same day, I never really got in the zone because I was having to shift, right? What I was doing, like you said, the methods or whatever the thing is. And it kind of goes, it's the same thing, like you said, for niching down. But I did have that mindset or that emotion around, well, I don't want to leave anybody out. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a really valid.
So we talk about niche. And another reason why you want to know your niche is because you need to build a community. And I'm talking about just a free community. It could be in a platform like Kajabi. It could be in a platform like Facebook, wherever you want, wherever. And there are other platforms out there, but you need to build a free community. It used to be, before 2020, people would actually meet up like in person.
Oh, yeah.
That was this thing,
It was a thing, believe it or not. People actually talked in person, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and not through a screen.
Yeah, exactly. So you could have a networking event. It's so many ways you can build your community, but you want to have something that is a place where you can pour into them and give them information. I just poured a whole bunch of information out to you. Now, are you going to be able to take what I just gave you and therapize, as my boyfriend says, therapize yourself? No, you still need me. So I'm not afraid to give you all of this for free, because I'm like, no, you cannot do self-sync financial therapy on yourself. You need me. So if you ever want to do self-sync financial therapy, you will call me. But in the meantime, you're just going to soak up all this information. So come on in, stay as long as you like into this community. If you are a service-based business owner, you are welcome. Come on in. And you need to have that idea that I am building a community. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people will receive this information, and some of them will eventually become my clients, and most of them will not.
Right.
So
Yeah.
once you get that idea, but if you niche down, then you know what to make that community about. You know what to talk about. And those people have common interests. So if you niche down, then a lot of what happens in that community is welcome. So you're not wondering, oh, should I talk about this? Should I talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are they going to be interested in this or interested in that? No, they're going to be interested in what you're interested in. Now, when I say build a community, you can build a community of the type of clients you want, or you can build a community of centers of influence. So I'm a financial therapist. The people who send me clients would be estate planning attorneys, financial advisors, and a lot of, because I work with service-based business owners. A lot of the people who are referring me clients are also my clients.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. So, and a financial advisor can be my client, but if they have a client that is not doing that's not following that financial plan, then they're going to want to send me that client and say, hey, I got this multimillionaire, but he will not follow his financial plan, or he won't save enough because he's just too conservative because he's so scared all the time.
Right.
Okay, got it. Fear. We're dealing with fear. And so I know what to work on, or either I know what to tell him so he can get the client just a little bit further down the road. And then if they really do need me, then they come in. So you have time to think about what you want your community to be. No rush, but it does need to relate. Yeah. So I'm saying don't have a cooking community if you sell shoes, whatever.
Yes. Exactly. It causes confusion, for the clients. Like, what am I coming to her for? She's cooking it, and the next day she's talking about shoes. Like, what is this community really about here? Yeah. They're not going to refer anybody because they don't know what to tell them. Like you said.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, friend. So you have been trying to make some shifts this year. Maybe you set some resolutions and you're just feeling stuck. You don't feel like you're making progress, or you're just not sure what to do. And you've heard me say this before, but being stuck is a mindset, not a position. And this is where a coach comes in to support you. Because here's what I know to be true about you, friend. If you could have done it alone, you would have already done it, period. And as a life coach and a certified PDP professional, I specialize in using a research-based personality and performance survey called the ProScan to illuminate how your unique personality and natural strengths, your work and life environments are influencing real-time performance. So here's what you need to do. Go to the link in the show notes and book your free clarity call to learn more about how I can support you in your goals. I can't wait to illuminate your strengths, cultivate your confidence, and elevate your life.
So once you have your community and you are generous, you're just giving the information away for free. If you have too many emotions wrapped around your community, it's not going to flourish. You already said, or we've already said together, we've already said that you have to run this business logically. Yeah. And logically, you need to know that the more people you talk to, the more likely you are to get clients. Yeah. So if you couldn't go into Marshall's unless you promised them that you were going to buy something, you would hate that company.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's basically what you're saying. Don't come in my community unless you're going to buy something. Right. But no, think of it as just inviting someone to your home. If you're inviting someone to your home, do they have to pay to get into your house?
Right. No.
Maybe they need to bring a drink or something. I don't know. But, but exactly, a little dessert. But they're not paying to get into your house. Yeah. So just let them come into the community. Just let them come in and stay. They can stay there as long as they like, because you already pay rent there. So you at least have somebody listening, right? At least somebody could be listening to you, because you got to keep talking every single week. And that in that community, let me give you this little piece of information. You probably already heard it before, but make sure you're showing up every single week. Now, I would tell you show up every single week at the same time. I'm not going to tell you that. That's what a lot of coaches and business people say. I'm not going to tell you that. Yes. My favorite TV show used to come on at a certain time, but they also changed that time sometime. Yeah. Or they moved it to Thursday. You ever saw one of those commercials? Right. Hey, so-and-so is moving to Thursday. Yeah. What? They did not consult me on moving to Thursday.
Well, and so many of those things are on demand now, right? So a lot of people
Exactly.
aren't
That was
even
where I was
tuning in
going.
live. Yeah. I'm like, what? Things aren't even live anymore. It's like we just watch the recording,
Yep.
know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as you communicate, and the other reason why I'm telling you this is because I love variety. I love change. It lights me up. If I have to do everything the same way, exactly the same every day,
Mm-hmm. You're
kill
going to be
me.
bored.
Exactly. I don't want to live. I do
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So I like change. And people who come into my community, they know that. Like, oh, she's doing it on Tuesday now. It's probably going to be on Thursday in a little while, or she's
Yeah.
going to move it to Wednesday. Just
Yeah.
move with me. And if you can't make it, that's okay. It's recorded anyway.
Right.
And you can make the next one. And you're not making your schedule around me anyway. So
Right.
nor am I making my schedule around you.
Yes, exactly. That needs
Yeah.
to be on a t-shirt. Every business owner needs to have that ingrained in their brain,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because most of us got into this business to have that flexibility. And sometimes we're so chained down to that schedule, right? I
Yep.
mean, it's crazy how we kind of morph into whatever the client wants, and
Yep.
they will morph to you. I have found, they'll get on your schedule. If you're bringing the value and you're showing up consistently, they're not going to want to miss it. So how can you,
Yep.
as the business owner, create that do not miss experience for them?
Exactly. And they begin to trust that if you move the time, you will communicate with them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if they know you're a variety kind of person, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, Kiné tell me when the new time is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just put systems in place that make it possible for you to have that. We're not saying be flaky and like, you know what? I don't feel like showing up today. I'm not going. Right. No, you're not going to be flaky. You're going to show up good day, bad day, emotional day, logical day. You're showing up at the time you said you're going to show up. But if you're ready to change that time and it no longer works for you because now your kid plays soccer at that time or something, then you're changing the time. You don't owe them an explanation as to why you did. Just so you know, I know ladies like to do that. My men, they don't do that.
They don't do that. There have been so many times. This is when I was leading a, multi-million-dollar organization, and my husband was like, "You want me to just get on the phone and talk to them?" He's like, "Because I don't understand why it's so simple. Why are you making it so difficult?" He's like, "I can go in there and I can nip it in the bud in 2.2 seconds." And I'm like, "No, do not get on the phone, or they'll all leave me." But it is so true. The difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you're the business owner, you're the CEO, you have to make that decision, and that decision is final. And if you're making that decision logically, then you'll be fine. I remember, I'll tell you this quick story and then we'll move on to the next one. But when I first got on Insight Timer, if you guys meditate, you should go on Insight Timer. I have a couple meditation. Most of them are free. I have one course on there that's paid, but it's so interesting because I rushed one of my meditations.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get a new one out. I was feeling emotional. I want it out. I want it out. I want to get a new one out. It was totally emotional. I put it out. It wasn't my best work. And I normally get like 4.7, sometimes 5. Like my ratings are really high. They creamed me on the ratings. They were like, this is not like her. This sucks. But then there were other people who were like, well, this isn't like Kiné. She usually does a lot better. I'm not sure what happened, kind of thing. There were people that were like kind of protecting me, but I had like 3s, 3.5, 3. I was like, whoa. I took that thing down so fast. That was a logical decision.
Right.
Holy shit, get that out of here. Who was that girl? So, and I had to admit it to myself. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? I could get all upset about those 3.5s and all of that and focus on that. No, but I went back and I was like, you know what? You rushed it. You were being emotional. You just wanted to get something out. It had been a certain amount of time. And you're like, oh, I should get something because they're probably waiting. Right. Hold on, lady. You don't have enough time to get something out. So whatever you put out is going to be half-assed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So just things like that is where you have to check yourself, because I could have went down an even more emotional roller coaster if I would have focused on those. But those people were right. I did not give them my best work. Right. So I can't be mad at them. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I said. Thank you. Yeah. And now disappear, delete.
Thank you. And now I'm deleting you. I appreciate it. You're gone. Bye-bye.
So I took that down and I uploaded a couple of days later when I had time to really pour myself into it. It wasn't my authentic self. It was my imposter self showing up. And my imposter self is going to get beat up every single time. So I wasn't emotional. I said, all right, thank you. Took it down. So we got the niche. We have the community. Let's talk about pricing. Oh, it's so much emotion in pricing. Oh, God. In myself included.
This is good job security for you. Just the whole pricing thing would keep you in business, sister. I'm telling you.
I know. But we go through, and I'm not going to do it today because it's so long, but we go what I call the act as if pricing formula. And you really, there's some areas that you need to look at to make it logical, because if you don't look at that pricing model, then you're going to either just look at somebody else's and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, that's my price too. Or you're going to go just under their price so you can try and get, clients from them. But competing on price as a service-based business owner never works. You have to be able to say, oh, I have a niche, I have a community. They are looking for this. They might be looking for white glove service. White glove service costs. And anybody who's ever asked for it is willing to pay for it. And if they are not, they are in the wrong community. You do not get white glove service if you want to pay Walmart prices. But there is a group for Walmart prices. It's just not this one. And you can be really logical about that.
Yeah.
But if you want to be the Walmart price service, if you're like, I'll do it for the cheapest because I want to be able I know that there are people and there are therapists like this who want to make sure that everybody can afford their service that they want to work with. So they may say, you know what? I work with people who barely make ends meet. It's going to be a stretch for them. So I'm going to make this $50 a session or whatever they do. Just so you know, I do not agree with session fees. We're not going to go down that road, but I'm just making sure you know that about me. I built a subscription-based practice, and that is what my belief is in. I know that not everybody can do it that way, especially if they haven't talked to me or been trained by me. But let's say, so some therapists like to have the smallest amount of money so anybody can afford them. And that is awesome if that is you. If you want to be the Walmart has made a lot of money. Walmart is very successful. So if that is what you're known for, okay, be known for that. And when I first opened my doors, I remember being that person. I was like, all right, first, I'm just trying this out. I just got out of school. Right. So everybody in the neighborhood knew, well, if she's self-paid, she doesn't take any insurance, but she's only $75 a session. So they sent people to me and I built up my book of business because I was the cheapest in the neighborhood, but I was also the newest in the neighborhood. So I had to be thinking about that. And when people get upset with their therapist, and people do get upset with their therapist, then they come right on over to me. So,
That was a logical decision. Like you said, that was a logical business decision based on where you were in your business and the journey of your business. So,
Yeah. And that many years ago, therapy was not as sought after as it's becoming now. So this was, almost 10 years ago. And people were like, do you know a therapist?
Oh, right. It was, you were crazy if you went to see a therapist.
Exactly.
Not like that anymore. Hopefully it'll continue
Thank goodness.
Go in that direction. It's normal.
Yeah. So you really have to get logical about your pricing. You really want to look at your audience, what they expect. A silver bracelet is a silver bracelet, right? But you go into Tiffany, it costs one thing. You go on Etsy, it costs another thing. So you have to know your audience and what they are expecting. You kind of need to know your industry and because maybe prices go up in your industry. I talked about silver. Silver was one price a couple years ago, and it's gone up a lot more. So if the prices go up, then your materials go up, the price has to go up. So if you are a jewelry maker, and let's say you make custom jewelry, so people call you and they say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Can you make it for me? Then you're pricing them based on the material you're going to use to build that thing for them. If that price goes up for the next person, they're not going to say, well, Martine spent only this much on hers. Well, Martine got hers 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So my price has changed. And I'm so much better at this than I used to be 3 years ago. There's some things I learned. I make this faster. So they're going to pay for that, and nobody does it the way I do.
Right. Yeah.
And the good thing is if you specialize in a certain thing, then everybody knows that and you do get better at it.
Yeah.
So then your price can go up. And last thing I want to say about pricing is your promotional price cannot stay your everyday price. So if you say buy one, get one free, just to let people come in the door, whatever you are doing as a promotion, then know that you eventually have to go to your full price. And don't you dare feel bad about that. Yeah. This is a business, not a nonprofit organization. You have to make money. So if your price goes up, they should have known your price go up. If they get upset with you because your price went to your normal price, then that means they are a taker and they don't know how to go from, I can just have. No, and now give. No, we have reciprocity here.
Right.
When my promotional price is me giving to you, being generous to you, my normal price is reciprocity. And there's room for that energy to be exchanged, but you're not just going to take from me. No.
Right.
So let's exchange, fair exchange. You have a need, I have a solution, fair exchange. At one point, I was deciding to give you that generously so that you could see, so you could begin to know, like, and trust the product or service I provide. And if you decided you don't like the service, or if you decided it's not worth this price, that is okay. Yeah. Because there's Walmart out there, or there's, wherever you want to send them to. But here at this particular place, this is the price. And you stand firm on your price because it is made up of logical things that you've thought of and evaluated, analyzed.
That's so good. I remember one time a speaker was talking about like what kind of experience you wanted to provide. Like you look at Starbucks experience and Dunkin' Donuts, and they're totally different, kind of like Walmart and Target and, Nordstrom's. None of them are right or wrong. It's just like Dunkin' Donuts is not trying to be Starbucks, and Starbucks isn't trying to be Dunkin' Donuts. They're standing, like you said, firm in what they offer, the experience they're going to provide, and their prices are different, but their experience is different too.
Exactly.
People aren't coming to Dunkin' Donuts for the experience and the vibe. And, they're just coming for the coffee, on to Starbucks because they like ordering the 5 name drinks and the whole experience that goes around with it, right? It's like the trendy thing, right? Different brands. And so it's like, what is your brand and what are the services and the experience you want to provide for your customers? And then I love that you always bring it back to the logical. I love that.
Yep. And you have to think about too, can you even deliver on brand promise if you don't charge a certain amount? Because now you're just a liar.
Yeah.
You didn't mean to be, but your price is too low for you to deliver on brand promise. You've got to have the price at least at the point where you can deliver on your brand promise, where you can be who you said you were. We go to a bakery, speaking of, where we pay so much money for a freaking croissant, but it's French. And so this is a real croissant.
Yeah.
And this man orders his ingredients from France.
Wow.
So he has to pay. He has to charge more.
Yeah.
So could I get a croissant from Dunkin' Donuts or even maybe Starbucks for $1.25 at Dunkin' Donuts? It'd be like $2.25.
I was going to say, I don't know what Starbucks you're
Starbucks, right? It's going to be twice that much. But here it's going to be $3.75 at the French bakery.
Yeah.
And his latte comes in a cup. Can you get it to go? Yes, but it's sort of a faux pas. It's like, oh, do you not have time to sit down and have a
right? Yeah, the experience. It's the experience. It's not a hurry up and go. It's a sit down and enjoy and savor every bite. Which is why it's a $3 croissant, because they want you to savor every bite.
Exactly. So now let's get to the last one. It is actually my favorite. I love talking about pricing. You can wake me up 3:00 in the morning to talk about your pricing. I'll be willing to do it. But I would never go to sleep when we talk about multiple streams of income. I would stay up all night. I would drink coffee, and I don't even drink coffee. I would take pills. I love this conversation, because if you have one stream of income, you will go out of business eventually. It's just a matter of fact. It's no way that all years you will always be profitable having one thing. You have to add either the way you deliver it, right? So maybe you do financial therapy and that is all you do is financial therapy for business success, but you deliver it for a premium service one-on-one, or you deliver it in a group, or people can just take your course, right? That's still multiple streams of revenue. And 2 of them are active and 1 of them is passive. So you might think about ways that you can offer your one product, but different ways. You might think about ways that you can add a product. So one of the things that we talk about a lot in financial therapy for business success is that your health is a really important part of you running your business because it's a service-based business, especially for a lot of my business owners who are in that like 500,000 to on the high end, 10 million right now. I've worked with people with hundreds of millions, but right now that's my sweet spot. That's who I work with. And a lot of times they're still in the business. They have not gone off and like left the business to other people. And so they have to be at the top of their game. So I talk about health and I have health products that I sell on the side, but you have to be in my community to even know that that's a possibility. But that's something that you can just buy and another stream of income. I don't package it. I don't have to do anything. It's just affiliate, product basically. And so you just add little things like that. That's a possibility. There are ways we sit down and we talk about what makes most sense for your business, but you have to have multiple streams of income. Again, I do not mean multiple jobs. I do not mean multiple.
There's so many different ways, even from like, as a coach, most of my stuff is digital, but, I could create journals or I could create, there's so many little things. And like you said, there's products that I use that I love that I talk about with my coaching clients. So again, affiliate marketing is a great, probably the most simple, wouldn't you say, kind of extra little stream of income because you're already using it. You love it. It's easy for you to talk about. You don't have to package it and all that, come up with, who you're going to source it out to. You already have it. And so it's just easy to talk about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Books are a good way to do that. You don't make a ton of money on books, but it'll be a couple of extra dollars here and there. And then once your audience gets bigger, then you make more money on books. But that is a lot of times people want to make books in order to they think that they're going to make a good stream of income just on book alone. But if you only have a book, you're going to have to do speaking engagements to get paid for those. You're going to have something around it, which speaking engagements is a great way. If you can build that up, it takes time. Takes relationships, but speaking engagements is a great way to make a lot of money in a small amount of time. And I like to joke with people, like they don't really pay me to speak because I obviously I'm on a podcast, right? I will speak for free. They really pay me to travel. That's what they pay me to travel to your conference. The rest of it I would do for free. Because it's so much fun if you like that kind of thing. But it is really so much fun to share your knowledge and give people a little bit of nugget that they might not have had. Because especially if what you do is up and coming, like financial therapy is slightly new still. And people are curious about it, but not a lot of people are as qualified as I am. So even though they're talking about mindset, they don't know that there's a whole nother set of your mind that you didn't even touch, because they talk about conscious brain when they talk about mindset. And I'm talking about what I call mentality, which is subconscious brain. And I'm doing hypnotherapy to remove and neuro-linguistic programming. And I'm getting to your subconscious brain to get you to change. And it's lasting change. So you don't revert, or you don't just move that vice over to another vice. So no, you don't smoke anymore, but now you drink. Oh, no, you don't drink anymore, but now you're just having sex with frivolous people, right? Because that's what happens in financial therapy. People just move it around. Like, oh, I conquered that thing. I don't overeat anymore, but now I work out 7 times a day. Oh, okay. And that's healthy.
Right. Just replace one unhealthy thing for another unhealthy thing because you're not actually curing the problem.
Exactly.
Underneath. So, well, this was awesome.
Man, it was. And oddly enough, we hit on everything.
We did. We did. And it's just, again, this is the kind of stuff that you could talk about, because I think everything you talked about, there was like another 2 or 3 or 4 layers that we could have gone into. But I know people are going to, again, go look at what you offer. Again, financial therapy. It was new to me when I first saw it. I'm like, financial therapist, never even heard of that before. So I do think it's up and coming, and I think it's a really valid topic to talk about and to keep discussing and to help people with, because they don't even realize probably a lot of the time that this is what's holding them back. These are the things that they need to spend time with a professional who knows all of those things, right? Like you, to help them work through it, because we can absorb all of your information like they're going to do through this podcast and last podcast and maybe be a part of your free community. But again, actually putting the action behind what you're learning and your knowledge. It takes someone like you, to come alongside someone and make sure that you're going to go further faster. I feel like that's why I've always had a coach. I've always invested in a coach or a program, because could I do it on my own? Yes. Could I YouTube all the things and figure out all the things? Yes. But it's going to take me forever to do that on my own. And I am more like, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go, sister. I got things to do. Let's just move through this.
Yep.
I highly
just tell me where to go. Just guide me. Yep. Yes. All right, let's go.
Yes. I am definitely. I'm the most coachable person I think you'll ever meet. If you told me to stand on my head for 2 hours and it would help my pricing drama or whatever, I would do it for sure. But anyway, I hope that everyone listening will definitely go and check out all the things that you have to offer. And we're going to stay fast friends. We're already fast friends, I feel like. We're going to stay connected. And I look forward to maybe having you back on the show for another conversation, because we could talk about this, I feel like, multiple times.
Yes. And I'm going to say this out loud. I'm just putting it in your ear. No pressure to figure it out. But if the people listen and they're like, okay, I joined Kiné's community, but I still like you, Martine. Can you guys do something together? Like, yes, I'm already saying yes to that. So if they want to show up, because a lot of these people already follow you. And so if they're not yet like, oh, I want to jump into Kiné's community, I don't want another community, I'm already a part of 2 or 3 communities, whatever the reason is. But if there's something inside of people saying, man, can you pick a few people? Let me tell you where I shine. If there are people in the room and they're open and they're like, hey, I got something, I just want to ask you a question. Can you help me? I am a genius at how. And so if you know the what, but don't raise your hand if you don't know what your question is, because I cannot help you. But if you know the what, I have a gift of giving you the how. I don't have to know anything about your industry. I will probably ask you a few more questions to get an understanding of you. And then I'm going to tell you how you do it. So if they want to have that experience, I do that in my community. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But these people are already in your community. Right. So if they want something like that, then we can put something like that together.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So I'm just giving you that. There's no rush to do anything with it. I just like to drop seeds.
Yeah, there we go. Seed, water, harvest. It's so funny. I woke up the other morning, I was thinking, I'm like, who was I talking to that was talking about that? And I was so glad you said it, because I've been driving me crazy. I'm like, who was it? Did I read it somewhere? I mean, it's not new, but it came up on our last episode. And so I'm like, I really
and it probably isn't new, but it's not been said that way and in that context.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what people don't understand is that they don't understand that you just dropped a seed. They feel like you have some expectation that they do something. Right. And most people don't know that they just dropped a seed. And they might jokingly say, oh, I just blew your mind. I just dropped a seed. Well, if this is the first time I ever heard this, then why the hell do you expect me to take action right now? Right? Yeah. Like, no, you're not going to invoke all these emotions in me and then have me make an emotional decision. No. And then I'm going to regret it. You wonder why people have buyer's remorse, because you just planted the seed and then you plucked it. What are you doing? That is not a vegetable yet. It's not a flower. It is nothing.
Yeah. Give it some time. Give it some time, make sure you water it. And I think as entrepreneurs, we do want that fast track, right? And not give it time. And a lot of times you pluck it, it's not the right one either, right? For you and for your business. So it works both ways there. Yeah. And we could talk forever and ever and ever. I really appreciate these 2 interviews. And I know they'll be probably some of our top ones. So thank you again for taking the time to come out, and we'll talk about what we're going to do in the future. That sounds fun.
All right. Yes. See you guys soon.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us for part 2. And I will catch you on the next episode. Y'all know I'm believing in you always. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link, share this episode, or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.